We're live, I believe. Morning, everybody. I hope you are all well. First of all, do not worry about the. I will not be rambling on for hours and hours today. It's VE Day, as I'm sure you all know. There's 2 minutes silence, 11 o'clock. I'll make sure that I don't run beyond that. Nothing breaks a 2 minute silence, quite like a bloke in his shed gobbing off for hours on end. So we'll be finished in good time. Please feel free to remind me in the chat. I'll keep an eye on it, and we won't be going anywhere near that long. I know I say that, and I do have a very nasty habit of saying I'm about to end the video and rambling on, but I'll try my best. That's all I can hope for. Hello to everybody in the chat. Hope you're all well. Right. The nature of the video today, as you probably saw from the title, it got me thinking when I was speaking to Gio on a cup of tea last night, which hopefully you all watched that. That's uploaded. Go and check that out on the main channel if you haven't. It was about how the easy fixtures have become more difficult. Now, I knew that anyway. And when I say easy fixtures, let me just put that into context. It will be more difficult to play Manchester United now because Rashford is back. It will be more difficult to play Tottenham now because they'll have Son back, because they'll have Harry Kane back. And what Gio said indicated that actually it was going to be a really, really good time to play Tottenham because they were quite down on their luck. Mourinho wasn't having a great time, and their two best players weren't available. So I absolutely 100% agree that. And well, actually, we've found ourselves disadvantaged in terms of the fixture schedule. Then it really got me thinking about how else the current situation has affected all of the teams. Now, what normally happens is when you're in a bit of a relegation pickle, let's put it that way, you get towards the end of the season. What you want to do is you want to play as many mid-table teams as you possibly can. Reason being, they ain't got an awful lot to play for. They can't go for the title. They can't qualify for Europe. And of course, they're so safe that they can't be relegated. So traditionally, if we were to go through the teams, you would say at the moment, Southampton, Newcastle, Everton, Crystal Palace, Burnley, Arsenal are probably, I know Arsenal would possibly feel they could qualify for Europe. I don't think they could. But you'd feel that all of those bunch of teams can't get relegated or won't get relegated and won't achieve any European competition. You want to play as many of that group as possible. I think that is more pertinent than ever before because of everything that's happened. And when we were discussing stuff last night, we were discussing about players going back to their clubs and not wanting going back to their clubs. Manuel Lanzini's situation is really the prime example, but you can use Sergio Aguero, any of these players that have spoken out and said, basically indicating they're a bit frightened to go back to football. Now, whilst I don't think anybody can force anybody to go and work, your club can't say to a player, you better turn up for work or else. I think that would be, well, I think it'd be insensitive. I also think it'd be bad PR at the moment. But what you're more able to do is if you're in that situation, is if you have nothing to fight for, you can be a little bit more relaxed about it. Gio gave the example of Everton the other day, but also, you know, Crystal Palace, Burnley, people like that, they can afford to say, Burnley can say to Jay Rodriguez, if Jay Rodriguez don't want to go back, Burnley can say, do you know what, Jay, don't worry about it. That's cool. It's not really a problem. Wolves can't really take that same line with Adama Traore. They'd be saying, well, we need you, mate. We really need you to get the push. We're in sixth position. We can get into Europe. That's a really big thing for us. And I think now, because of that, if you factor all of that in to the teams, then what you're going to have is teams with more drive and just teams with better players. Because if you're more relaxed about who's in a composition of your first team squad, fine. What I'm saying is Everton, Crystal Palace, Burnley, Newcastle, they just want the season to be done. Do they really care if there's 3 or 4 young players in there that wouldn't previously have made the team? I don't think they do. They just say, let's get it done. Let's get our Premier League money and let's just get out of the way. Let's get it done. The other teams are just going to be more insistent. They're going to want their better players in there. So it made me look at the run-ins. And before I do that, I just want to go through the teams in the league and just see who's impacted by it or not. Look, clearly Liverpool, I don't even need to discuss Liverpool. I mean, Manchester City are an interesting one. They can't win the title. They've got Champions League football. And sadly, Guardiola's mum has died from exactly COVID. she died from it. Now, Man City are a fantastic team, don't get me wrong, but I do feel that they're not going to be, when they get back to playing at full steam. I'm not saying you want to play Manchester City and everyone's got a chance playing Manchester City, but out of the top teams, that you might think, okay, they're not going to be quite as potent as they usually are. You wouldn't want to play Leicester, you wouldn't want to play Chelsea, and you wouldn't want to play Manchester United. Manchester United are in 5th, and they're only 3 points off Champions League spots. Now, we do play Manchester United and we do play Chelsea. I mean, so just look at West Ham's running. We've got Man United, which they've got Rashford back. They're going to have a lot of players back fit and firing. That was a big loss for them, I think, when he got injured. But him coming back is massive for them. It's going to be really, really difficult to go up there and get in at him. Newcastle, I think Newcastle are one of those ones that you want. Not only have Newcastle got a double-edged thing of being safe, but also you've got a manager there. Presuming this whole takeover goes through, I mean, it has taken a very, very long time. Very long time. Presuming this takeover goes through, you've got a manager there who's probably not going to keep his job because apparently they want Rafa Benitez back. You've got a bunch of players there who really, I think, have performed probably better than they would have expected, Newcastle. I know certainly that they lost Rafa Benitez and they were not happy. They were fuming. The Geordies were fuming when Steve Bruce came in. They did not want him at all. And I think he's probably performed better than they expected. And he's certainly got the players performing better. They've got a couple of young lads coming through, the two Longstaff boys. And so Maximum's come in, done really well. They've not had a bad old season. But I think that's going to be, it's going to be really difficult for the manager and a lot of the players thinking, well, hold on, we're just going to be replaced. We're going to be replaced. We're going into a working environment which may well be quite dangerous. I don't know if they're going to be as fully committed. I don't think that's a bad fixture. The Norwich one, well, that was never going to be anything but a difficult game because they're fighting relegation. They're a well-organised team. They haven't got a team of superstars, far from it, but they're a well-organised team. That was always going to be difficult, that one, but I do think it was winnable. The Tottenham one is really the interesting one. I've already discussed that. Because it really could be a horrendous time to play them because they really do have something to fight for. They seem to have, when I talk about this mental readiness to get back to football, they seem to have got into their stride a little bit earlier than everybody else. They were training when naughty boys, perhaps they were training when perhaps they shouldn't have been. You can imagine, my point is that Tottenham may well hit the ground running. So, not a good one there either. The next one's Wolves. I've just discussed Wolves. Wolves are in with a massive chance of getting into Europe. They are right there. It becomes a tough fixture. Gio made the point the other day, which was we were going to be playing them bang in the middle of when they were going to have their focus on the UEFA League, the Europa Cup. What is it called at Mickey Mouse Tournament? Anyway, you know what I'm saying? They're in Europe, in the knockout stages as well. Their focus isn't going to be on that. They're not going to be knackered from having a trip halfway across Europe and coming back again. Do you know what I mean? Traveling across Europe on a Thursday, coming back playing us on a Sunday. That's not going to happen anymore. We're going to get a fresh Wolves team. So we've been disadvantaged of that. So the last two, Spurs and Wolves, have completely disadvantaged us. Man United's disadvantaged us. So 3 of those games have become harder. We got Aston Villa, of course, as well, which was going to be like the sort of grand finale at the end of the season. Well, that's not really changed. I don't think anything changed, though. Aston Villa are just as motivated as they were. They're being... What's his name? Christian Purslow, I think, is the chief executive around Aston Villa. He's been quite vocal in the news recently. So I think that's going to be really, really interesting anyway. But I don't think the dynamics have necessarily changed that. Watford, again... They weren't safe anyway, but so that's not really changed it. Burnley are the other one. So I would take Burnley and Newcastle as they are 2 games against those mid-table teams who, whilst I'd never accuse a Sean Dyche team of down in tools, don't get me wrong, I really wouldn't. But there has to be some sort of release of pressure, something where they're possibly not giving as much to the cause as a team in relegation. Basically, they don't have to be there to stay safe. They can put their youth team out. Not that they will, but They can put a youth team out and they can stay safe in the Premier League. That has to send a sort of subliminal message. So they're not scrapping for their lives like Watford or Aston Villa, and it's at home. And quite frankly, Burnley are due one at our place from us. And then the other game that's left on the fixture list is West Ham v Chelsea. Again, that's going to be really, really tough. They're going to have a fully fit squad. It doesn't look great. And it was really, as I say, it was something that was said in the video last night. And I thought, hold on a second, the fixtures have got a lot worse for us. But don't despair. Don't despair, because I've looked at the other fixtures as well. So Brighton are right in amongst it. Brighton have got to play Arsenal. Brighton have got to play Newcastle, Man City, Liverpool, Man United, Burnley, Leicester, Norwich, Southampton. I think the running's easier than ours for the reasons that I've already explained. We got Bournemouth. Well, I don't mean we've got Bournemouth. Bournemouth are also obviously in the relegation zone. Bournemouth played Crystal Palace at home. They're playing that down in Bournemouth. That's a good one for them. They're also playing Southampton. Now, there's a bit of rivalry down there, South Coast Derby and all the rest of it. They don't like each other, by the way. I've lived down in Bournemouth and they don't like each other down there. So that might well be feisty, but that's more about the fans than anything else. Well, the fans aren't even going to be at the game. By and large, you've got a team, a squad of mostly foreign players. They're not going to be too bothered about a rivalry between two English seaside towns, basically. Bournemouth v Leicester, then they played Tottenham, they played Newcastle, Everton, Man City, Man United, Wolves. I think their running's easier than ours. I said don't despair, maybe do despair. The other one that I brought up, and Watford have got Arsenal, Burnley, Chelsea, Leicester, Man City, Newcastle, Norwich, Southampton, West Ham, of course. Not very good. Squeaky bum time, most definitely, which leads me coming back full circle, thinking we need to get a win of somebody unexpected, which would be Manchester United, which would be Tottenham or Chelsea. Now, I think we were in line to do that. I thought we were going to beat Tottenham. I really did. But it's more difficult now. Interesting times. I just thought it had thrown a very, very different dynamic onto the whole thing. Let me know what you think. Anyway, that's it. Let me do a couple of questions, and then I'm going to get done in good time. Sorry, I was a little bit lazy to upload today, and I thought by the time I've finished doing it, by the time I've edited and all the rest of it, it's probably easier just to go live. So, hello to everybody in the chat. A raise in the chat, of course. Andy, Dave Trevor. Hello, Dave. How are you, mate? Ray says the London derbies are not going to feel the same. Well, no, they just won't. They won't be. The London derbies, well, for the same reasons that I just gave about the South Coast derby there. How excited can I don't know. How excited Sebastian Haller going to be to play against Serge Aurier, for instance, and stuff like that. It's the fans that make those dates feisty, that make them meaningful. It's gonna be really. It's funny because there has been so much talk about the behind closed doors and the atmosphere in stadiums, and I think a lot of us are so desperate to get a bit of entertainment, a bit of something on the telly, a bit of something to watch, that we've forgotten about it. But I think we'll be prepared for it by the time we play, because the Bundesliga will have been played. But I think we're. I think it's going to be a little bit deflated. It's going to be weird. It is certainly not going to feel like football's back when we watch our first game on telly with an empty stadium. It is going to be odd. What have we got here? We got Andy says if so-called safe teams play weaker sides, it ruins the integrity of the league. Well, it does, but I think that the integrity of the league is ruined anyway. I don't think they care too much about that, in all honesty, Andy, because even just the neutral grounds ruins the integrity of the league because it's not balanced. The whole point is you're meant to play everybody home and away. That won't happen. At some point, somewhere, someone gets an advantage. So it's as simple as that, really. Ham or cheese, says Ryan. Look, a bit of both ideally, but I only like melted cheese, Ryan. Only melted cheese. But thank you for tuning in, mate. That's very good of you. Jason says, are you confident the Premier League will definitely restart now? You were very sceptical last week. I think they're going to try. I think it will restart. I am. I'm cynical about a whole lot, really. I'm cynical and I'm skeptical. Would be the way to put it. I think they want to restart. They're desperate to, but what they're doing is it's corporation dealing with corporation. So it's a one corporate entity dealing with another. It's the Premier League having talks with BT and with Sky. And I think as these negotiations are going on, they're forgetting about the individual, and it will be the individual. It will be David that topples Goliath in this, because it will be a lawsuit from somebody over something here. Because we've not seen the individual battles come into play yet. We won't see those until the agreement is made with BT, is made with Sky, and the agreement is maybe made with the government for legally that they can start this. At that point, when the club say to the players, right, you've got to start work now, then we see. Because that's when we find out how many turn around and say, no, we don't feel safe, we don't want to. Then if they're forced into it, then we'll see. We'll see. It could be a legal minefield. It will be a legal minefield, whatever happens, not just from the players, and literally anything can happen. So I think they will signal the start. I think they will tell everybody that are getting back up and running again. How easy that will be to do, we just don't know yet. Marty says, morning, mate. Like you, I was confident before the pandemic, but not now. Yeah, which is exactly what I said about the fixtures. James Gunn thinks we'll get relegated. Yeah, I mean, he's saying it'll be the perfect karma for Karen, and the owners desperately wanting to avoid the season. It's gonna be really, really tight. It is. You do not want to get relegated this season. You don't want to get relegated any season. You don't want to be relegated because of this. And I think you'll always feel that you were. If you get relegated this season, apart from maybe Norwich, who are probably going to go anyway, anyone that goes down will feel disadvantaged by this. It's gonna be really, really odd, certainly. Who do we think will get our player of the season? Probably Ogbonna, I would imagine. If we go down, do you think we'll do a Sheffield United and get Lloyd? I'm not so sure, Rick, in all honesty. Don't know. Maybe not. So something's going to happen, though, legally, and lots of it. It's going to be a minefield. Sometimes you watch the news. You know, when football was before all this, and it was all VAR. So a lot of time you'd switch on Sky Sports News, and so much of the story was not about who scored a goal. It was about VAR and all that. I can see the sports news being dominated by who's doing what legally. I think it's going to be horrible, actually. Can you see lawsuits after the league's finished? Yes, for reasons I just said. Anthony says, I'm more bullish. I believe we will get a result against the big boys. Who's the most vulnerable? Spurs, he reckons, need to recover their confidence. Yeah, I mean, I am working on the assumption, Anthony, that Spurs did recover something, that Spurs needed to press the reset button, that Spurs needed a break. It don't take him long, Mourinho, for the pressure to come on top of him. When he walks into a place, he's all character, he's all bubbly, he smiles, he jokes, the ball boy, he brings him in. And it doesn't take much for the world to drop onto Mourinho's shoulders, and he carries himself a little bit differently. He's no longer the chirpy chap. He's no longer happy. He goes from being happy, chirpy, and jokey to sulky really quickly. He's a very, very fast burner, Mourinho, which I guess why I don't stay anywhere for too long. But the reset button might help him. Victor says, should teams play the players that were fit before lockdown? I understand what you're saying there. Basically, should the composition of the squads change? I would say no, but if what you have are 10 players saying, I don't want to come back, you're going to have to change the composition of the squad. So ideally, no. But this is why it's an absolute minefield. It's not sharing like with like. Excuse me, folks. As I said, don't worry, I'm not going to go on until 11. If you missed the start of the show, it's VE Day. There's 2 minutes silence at 11. So I'll be gone before that. I promise I will. I'm not going to keep you talking forever. But thank you for tuning in. Excuse me, folks. Excuse me. What else we got? James Gunn. How long we'll be down there if we get relegated, Gonzo? Do you think we'll do a Sunderland and go down to League One? I'm not sure about that. I cannot imagine that there will be that many Football League teams once all said and done. Once the dust, well, we've got 92 Football League teams. That ain't going to be the case afterwards. So the whole face of football is going to be changed 100%. Some of them are just too reliant on fan through the turnstile revenue. Gonzo's favourite kit of the last decade and game. Kit. I was wearing it the other day. I was wearing it the other day. The Adidas one of the last decade. Game. I'll have to get back to you on that one, mate. What West Ham player will shine when we return to Mikel Antonio? He'll be fit. Mikel Antonio is one of those players. Mikel Antonio has not spent all his life as a rich footballer. I think it's really, really difficult if you've been a 15, 16-year-old and knew you were going to be a millionaire all your life because you were good at football. I think you've got a very, very different mindset. Mikel Antonio was stacking shelves and stuff like that. He was playing non-league. He was playing for Tooting, not getting paid. I think it's just going to make him more resolute. I think he comes back. He understands how lucky he is. He understands what it's like to do a normal job. Look, at the end of the day, here's the thing about football. Excuse me. If you don't wake up every day as a footballer and thank your lucky stars that in essence you are playing a game for your job. You're not driving a bus. You're not working in a factory. You're not sticking your hand down a toilet. You are playing a game. You're basically doing what you did as a child and you're getting paid for it. It's a miraculous thing. If you don't thank your lucky stars every day, you've probably got too comfortable. You've probably been sat in that position for too long. Add into the fact you've probably got a Ferrari, you've got a house with a swimming pool, and all those other things. You have a very, very lovely life. And I think Mikel Antonio, because he has had a job, because he's lived a normal life before he earns 70 grand a week. I think he understands. I think he's going to go back. I think he's got a mental toughness, which is probably going to help him through, and hopefully help West Ham through. Those are my opinions, anyway, Anthony. How would you finish this mess? Null and void restart. What will the league do? Will, I've got to be honest with you. I've got to finish this, I think, in 9 minutes, and I could do 20 minutes on that alone. Nick says, "Have you got new pinball machines?" No, that one's the same. That one I've just fixed. That was in the house. That's fixed. Because I do them up. I get them. They're knackered when I get them, and I do them up and I sell them on. So, yeah, I'm a bit of a geek, really. I solder stuff and get solenoids and resolder circuit boards and do. I'm quite geeky, really. So yeah, so that's that the Lord of the Rings is now down here. That's been it's me pride and joy, really, that one. So yes, that's that. What else have we got? We have to restart to get the funds flowing. Yeah, I mean, yes, they probably do. I think they know that more than anyone. I mean, there's a big debate to be. I'm going to do this video in a week, which will be the choice of players to stop playing, and which I agree with, by the way, and then what should happen to their wages if they decide that they can't play football anymore. But we'll discuss that another time. I think you're an underrated YouTuber. Well, that's very kind. That's very kind of you. I think I'm rated. Newcastle fans wouldn't agree, is what I was going to say. Harry. No, I'm not. So Ratty is trying to get me with a name. He's trying to get me with a name. Then I'm not saying that, Ratty. By the way, you almost got me. I wonder how long until we get the stadium. I mean, this is gonna kill it. All of that, it really is. Talking about getting the stadium, this is not gonna be good news for anything like that. By the way, and everything gets prolonged now. Bowen to help save us. You know what? I feel a little bit robbed of that. I mean, we've been robbed a lot of things. But I do feel a little bit robbed of seeing the new West Ham with Bowen and Souček in there. Souček. I've covered everyone there, by the way. Yeah, I'm sort of looking forward to going there, watching Jared Bowen play and carry on getting better. So, yeah. Richie Von Rock from the Sinks Like a Rock School of Scuba Diving. He says it only takes one player to get the virus. Richie, I've got your thing. Where's the thing? Yeah, Richie. Richie sent me that. Huh? Good, huh? What does he say? It only takes one player to get the virus, and then the Premier League will have to be postponed. Both teams. Well, I mean, this is true. You would think, but 3 players at Cologne got it, and then there's another 10 players who have subsequently got it in German football, and it's not stopped it, Richie. But there's going back to what we were talking about, lawsuits. There's your lawsuit there, by the way. Antonio was a lifeguard, was he really, John? Pinball wizard, yeah. I'm not quite a pinball wizard, Andy. I'm good at. I'd say good. I'm good at taking things apart. Not bad at putting them back together. Actually playing it, I'm very average. There's leagues and everything. I'm way down. But I do love pinball. Pinball's me guilty pleasure, certainly. Are you a plumber? I am not at the moment. I'm not plumbing anything in at the moment, but yes, I'm a bathroom fitter more than a plumber. Ever since there you go, Rick is now. There you go. We got the Who. I got a new. You probably sort of see that. In fact, I was going to spin the camera that way. I'm not going to do it. This man cave looks like a teenager's bedroom at the moment. It's disgusting. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 mugs down here. I feel like a naughty boy. I'm a really naughty boy. But I'm building a shed out there. And I can move the crap, not the washing up. The washing up's still got to be done. Move the crap for me, and I have a tidy up. So I'm not going to spin the camera around. And to be fair, I promised the patrons that I'm going to do a man cave tour. First of all, anyway. Which, if you do want to be a patron, click in the link below. You can sponsor us for as little as £2.80 a month. Get loads of extra content, and we are going to be producing a lot of it in the near future. Right, we're at 11:15. So I won't stay very much longer. Kai Nor says, geeky, Star Trek or Star Wars? Both. Although I don't really watch the old Star Trek. You know, it's like the Next Generation, Voyager, Discovery, Enterprise. I struggle with the old one. Some things don't age well, right? Geo advised me to watch. I'll give you an example. Geo advised me to watch Prison Break, which I'd started to watch, and I will probably continue to watch, but it's not aged well. It looks, I don't know how old it is, but it looks like it's 15 years old. Sometimes the old haircuts and all, I don't know, just different things, the way it's filmed, it's not aged well. I don't think the original Star Trek has aged well, the way, you know, the transporters and up and down. Realistically, whilst it's a cult TV series, the technology wasn't really there to do spaceships and transporters and stuff like that. Now you can do what you want. I've got a green screen back there. I can make myself disappear. I'm sure many of you, particularly Newcastle fans, would love that to happen. But the technology wasn't quite there for that. Then what else we got? West Ham fan. There needs to be a rule where you can watch all the games on YouTube. On the football team's YouTube channel. I do wonder, well, listen, they can't be at the moment because they need to get money back to Sky and need to get money back to BT. I do wonder in the future if clubs will just stream their own games. I mean, we would all get it, wouldn't we? If West Ham had a £10 a month season ticket, £9 a month, I don't know, whatever, just for West Ham games, if every club was able to do that, then we would all do it. What there wouldn't be, though, is this massive shared revenue which they get from Sky and BT. But it is all about money. Don't you worry about that. David Jones said, it seems a lot of Villa fans watch your channel. Is this a Claret and Blue connection? Or your witty chatter? Probably definitely more a Claret and Blue connection. No, I don't know. Look, we welcome other fans on here. I would never want it to be such a hostile environment. Other fans think I couldn't watch that. And I don't hate any club. I've even Tottenham. I have a little dig about Tottenham. But I have enough friends that are Tottenham fans to know not every Tottenham fan is an absolute wrong one. Mrs. Gonzo is actually from the Midlands, although you wouldn't be able to tell because she's changed her accent. A chameleon. As a chameleon, not a comedian. She's definitely not a comedian. And she, growing up, was an Aston Villa fan. I say Aston Villa fan. Her dad was an Aston Villa fan. She went there once. She wasn't really interested in football, but now she's been to whatever 10, 20 times more West Ham games. She has Aston Villa, and she probably couldn't name a single Aston Villa player, but she could name many West Ham players. There we go. There's a little story for you. Not a classic story, granted. What else we got? Thought West Ham looked fairly sharp in the last 2 or 3 games. He felt upbeat. This is Peter Jones. Before it all came crashing down, I think a lot of us did. I really started to feel confident then. It was a bit annoying when we got Souček in. He looked good, and then he got an injury. We thought, well, this might hinder us. Moyes was really took a long time, didn't he, to try and get Bowen into the team. It felt like a long time. Maybe it's 4 or 5 games for him to really introduce him. But yeah, I think we all feel a little bit disadvantaged by that. No, Rick, there are no tissues in here. It's not that much of a teenager's bedroom. Certainly not. No tissues. No funny business, although we do have the internet. No, there's none of that. Can you imagine? Crikey. Does Mrs. Gonzo make you wear just a bow tie and your leopard print Speedos? Actually, I can't show you. It's going to show you something then. I can't show you. It's awaiting another video. That myself and Gio have got plans. I think she'd feel a bit wronged if I mean, she'd laugh. She'd just laugh. She'd laugh. It wouldn't be sexy at all. I think she would just laugh if I turn up in my bow tie and my leopard print pedos. I bet the algorithms hooked that right out. By the way, I bet this video might even get banned because I just said that word. Excuse me. What else have we got? We should stream the under-23s ladies game on YouTube. I think they do. I'm talking about ladies games. Certainly a lot of the younger games are. West Ham fan, his favourite team is Leipzig because he likes they've done getting the young good players. I got given a German team last night on a cup of tea. It was Freiburg. Didn't want Freiburg. I'm not sure how much of it I'll watch anyway. I think the idea, football's better. We've got something to watch. Be a Bundesliga game to watch. I wouldn't mind. I think we'll have more tolerance when it's West Ham. I wouldn't mind betting that you put on that first game, whatever, I don't know, what, Leipzig against Freiburg or whatever, and you start to watch it, you think, actually, it's terrible because there's no atmosphere in the ground. Just to think. Ray says, okay, we have Wilshere back. Yeah, that will help, won't it, Ray? I'd be interested to see what he does, actually, particularly if he is fit. James Gunn says, we're notoriously slow starters. Always look unfit after a long period off. I'm worried. Yeah, well, there we go. Right. Thank you for joining me. I'm being disciplined now and get it finished. That's a short one. 32 minutes. Probably 34 by the time I've done my outro, which is just basically rambling on. Enjoy the rest of your day. As I say, we finished by 11. It's VE day and 2 minutes silence at 11 o'clock, which even I, believe it or not, can be silent for 2 minutes. And I will. Bless you all, you lovely people. Thank you for continually watching. Nice live chat. And if you put comments underneath, I'll read them. I'll read them later. Let me know what you're watching on telly. I watched that Extraction thing on Netflix. It was rubbish. So yeah. So sorry, it was terrible. But I know a lot of people mentioned it in the thing. It was awful. It was a bit too. I don't mind an action film. It was a bit too much action for me. There we go. I finished Better Call Saul. I'm fully up to date on that. So I've got Save Me season 2, and then I'm looking for something else. So yeah, let me know. Don't leave me know in this live chat. Let me know underneath. Right, I'm gonna go. Enjoy your day. Bit of sunshine. Weekend, isn't it? It's weekend. Have a nice weekend. We'll be back. I'll upload something tomorrow, so I will see you then. Afterlife, Andy. Afterlife, yeah, I've got that saved up as well. I'll give it a look. I don't laugh much at it. I've got to be honest. I think it's quite sad, but it is entertaining. I find Ricky Gervais doing the Golden Globes the funniest thing he does, really. And The Office, of course, is one of the best things ever made. Although, how much do I laugh at The Office? I don't know. I think I just cringe the whole time, but it is entertaining. Have a good day, everybody. I'm going to press end stream now. Take care of yourselves. See you very, very soon.